All right, guys. Fula coming to you with another commentary. So, for you guys who don't know DJ Envy, he's a radio personality. He used to be like a heavy mixtape DJ. And yeah, man, his wife is emasculating him. Um, Granted, he was there was some infidelity on his part, but at the same time, you shouldn't let your business be aired out like this. So let's look at him. Let's see how much of a sucking place he is in.
Yeah.
Now, granted, when DJ Envy came up, he even said by his own accord that he was freckles, pimples, and things like that, braces as well, glasses on. But this was, he said this on his accord.
Yeah.
Um, the lie detector test determined that was a lie. While keeping it PG, that's possible. When you know what time it is. Basically, is what I'm saying. You know what time it is, and you're gonna know how. You know, at the end of the day, we all have an obligation to master our bodies, and we're gonna know what our bodies like and what our bodies respond to.
Hmm.
Your man's gonna know. It's in a innate nature of like a man to. Okay, here's the thing. Only like a simp, only like a Russell Wilson type character is gonna like the starfish treatment, right? But if you're a man who's truly comfortable in his masculine frame, and are just in general just a man who has needs, you're you're gonna you're gonna like do your due diligence to blow her back out, you know, and leave her in the bed with her legs trembling. You're gonna do that by default. Here we go. Listen, listen. Here we go.
All right.
All around.
Okay, keywords. He lives to make me happy. Rule number one, don't live to make a woman happy. The first person you must make happy, well, I'm not going to say a person, astaghfirullah. If you make Allah happy, then the rest will fall into place. There was a line that my big um my big unc Ab Liva, shout outs to him. What up, Liva? Um, who's MC? He said something. He said, the sun is. He was talking about a car or something like that, and he said the sun is shining and God is smiling. He said that in a line. The sun is shining and God is smiling. So that should be your numero uno objective when it comes to your purpose. You know what I mean? But you heard her words though. He does everything. His whole thing is to make me happy.
So I would see him trying and really going to work. And I'm sure so many women can relate. Like, you want to reward that man for that work. And the only reward that you have to offer is an orgasm. But
Yeah.
even if I didn't feel it, I would still be performative. So, yes, I was faking it. But once you start, how do you stop? How do
Right.
you climb back out of that rabbit hole? You can't really have a conversation about it now. So I actually did it to myself. But what's more important is the fact that it had nothing to do with him. He
Right.
was doing everything that a man could do to please a woman. The problem was that.
Nah, and you know what? I think too, since it does take two to tangle, um, I'm thinking she gave him the starfish treatment, and he was just trying his very best to the make the best out of the situation. You know what I mean?
I didn't know my own body. And
You
you
couldn't
know,
communicate what exactly you wanted.
exactly, exactly. I had to learn that first. And what the problem was, I was so busy performing and putting on a show that I didn't take the time to be pleased. I didn't take the time to enjoy it because that wasn't my priority. My priority was him. And that comes from a place where, ever since we're young, we're we're sold these false narratives that women are sex objects. Women are here for the pleasing of men. Women are toys. You see it on billboard ads. You see it on the cover of books. You see it in, car magazines. You see it everywhere. Sexy women draped across something, advertising something. So we're kind of
While I will agree with that, I will agree with that. Um, at the same time, here's the thing: if you marry a man, if you marry a man, if you decide, okay, we're gonna get married, you marry a man, right? Your obligation should be to please that man. Like, if that man's taking care of you, if that man is providing for you, if that man is doing his due diligence to really be a man, then I think you should like take the initiative and like yeah, provide for him like the things that he needs, which is like good sex. You know what I mean? Um, I mean, while keeping it PG, like if he's like putting you on his program, like his program, right? And his program is on the up and up, only getting better. Yeah, I mean, like you should feel compelled to like wanna like please him. You feel me? but not in. But the thing is, women put themselves out there like that too, as she said. Like it is. I mean, when you look at all the avenues they have available to do so, they do it.
Consciously led to believe those things. And for me, this is how it played out in my life.
And everything is all good there now, right?
Oh yeah, he's awesome. I figured out my problems.
Nah, don't let it fool you. Don't let it fool you.
Hurt my heart though. I ain't gonna lie. I hurt my heart. I might have cried a couple of times, but
No,
it helped our relationship even better.
But on a more serious note, me doing that was very, very detrimental, and it put into effect the fall of a series of dominoes that hurt our relationship in the absolute worst way. It was actually one of the reasons why he cheated.
Mm. So do you feel like so how did that conversation even come about? Like Emmy, where you were like, am I not performing enough? Or were you at some point like you're not performing enough? Or like how did that come about?
One night we were in bed and we were having sex, and she was just I remember in the middle of it she was like, yes but no, and I'm like, yes but no what?
Something like that.
Yes but no what? And she was like, we got into like a argument, and then she was like, well, I don't be having an orgasm. She
Yeah, just let this be a reminder to you that women will hide things from you, bro. And no matter the amount of money you have, and he's pretty well off. He has, I think, a New Jersey mansion, if I'm not mistaken. No matter how well off you are, you will be. I want to say, you you still are in the crosshairs of these women. You know what I mean? I mean, because you have to ask yourself, like, what compelled her to say that out of nowhere at that very moment, instead of just talking um, outside, like talking, like not talking during the act, but talking like maybe like why wouldn't she say that before the act? Like, yo, we need to try something different. You know what I mean?
saying in that she speaks way more eloquent than I would ever. And I was like, what? And she was like, I don't. I'm like, no, yes you do. I hear it. Like, yeah, and then she was like, no, I'm making it. I'm like, every time. And she was like, yeah. And then that just crushed me because I thought I was putting in work. Like I'm sitting there thinking I'm, you know, Big Daddy Long Leg. You know what I mean? And she's sitting there like, no, not at all. So it really hurt my heart. Like it hurt me because
So what needs to be said too is that man, this could be heavy because if she's depriving you of like sex, right? And this is for married couples, then it could very well mean that like, yo, like she may be getting it from somewhere else that's pleasing to her, and also you know she she just may not be satisfied with your skills. You know what I mean? That can be, these are two heavy things that you have to look out for.
for that time, I thought I was pleasing my wife. I thought I was pleasing. You hear all these stories of women talking about their girlfriend. Oh, girl, he was so short. Oh, girl, he ain't doing nothing. And I feel like they laughing. Now I feel like that's what my wife is doing.
Mm.
Yeah, but the way that it came out, we had gotten into an argument, and when I was trying to resolve the argument, he tried to slap the band-aid of sex over it. And he
Mm.
had done that so many times before. Like, let me just give us some.
You know that
Yeah,
conversation.
let me just give us some.
Take this D and shut up. You know that.
I actually think that's the most toxic. A lot of people love like
But believe it or not, that actually does work. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna cap, like, especially afterward. Like, for example, like, it's like da 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 da. She's yelling and stuff like that, and then you just kind of like, kiss her and stuff like that, and the rest. And then, like, while y'all laying together, you ask her like, yo, so what was the problem? Like, what was the problem? And she'll be more calm because, like, you just, what you will call it, you just laid it down, right?
makeup sex, and in my opinion, I feel like it's the most toxic thing ever. And
It was.
that's
And we had quite a bit of makeup sex.
yeah.
And I was over it that day. So I'm like, we didn't even get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, you gotta talk about it, and then you can make up with
Yeah,
this.
you get to
You
a point
can't
of
make up with these
understanding.
experts, right?
Then you can have happy makeup sex. But I was having disgruntled makeup sex. And I'm laying there and I'm thinking to myself, like, and then it just came out. So what I did, which was wrong, was I weaponized it.
He looks like he's in a sunken place. But notice how she said that she weaponized it. You know, that's one of the typical playbooks of a woman is to, especially a Western woman, is to weaponize sex in many different ways. Sometimes you can, you know, weaponize it in a way where, like, these false rape claims and things like that. You know what I mean? Um, Weaponizing it by depriving the man of it, when y'all are together. And now she weaponized it to make him doubt himself, basically.
There was a time and place for me to communicate how I felt. There was a way in which to do it. And that is not the decision that I made. I did it to hurt him. I did it to spite him. And it made our relationship that much more toxic because now I have a husband with a bruised ego who's looking at me as a wife who's a liar and who not only lied but lied to him for years. And the most delicate part, your
How long
relationship
had you guys been together when you had that
at
conversation?
that point, I think we were married for
That was our Kittle house. It was the other
it
house.
was the other house when
Yeah.
we were on a lease.
Yep.
16, 17, maybe 17 years ago. So we're probably 10 or 11 years into our marriage. Yeah, you were
So I, I guess the bag was so good that she was able to like fake it um for that long. Now the real question is, did she ever climax? You know what I mean? Like, did she ever climax with him? Like, did she ever have a climax with him, or was she just like faking the whole time during that amount of time?
remember where we the bedroom
Yeah, I
that
just
we
remember the
sat there
bedroom
and
in the
had the
house.
conversation. It was the house prior to the one that we're living in now. So yeah, no, it was a long time ago. But let me tell you something. It had years of consequences.
Oh my goodness, that's a long time. That's definitely a long time. But you can clearly see the work that you guys have done with your responses and your self awareness and the parts you each played to get to where you are today. There's not a lot of pointing fingers, which I love. So I love that for you guys. Love the black love come through.
Baby.
Yes, and you guys also talk about questions to ask yourself before.
So there you have it, guys. Um, Kind of like another um Will Jada thing, and like Sierra Russell Wilson type thing going on with these two. Let the lesson be that if don't be part of her plans, you make your own plans, and if she decides to be part of them, put down the conditions and don't let her dictate the conditions. That's pretty much all I can get from the video. Also, I can get that a woman will subconsciously throw you under the bus in order to make a talking point. And also, like, throw you under the bus and forget, like, logic while she's throwing you under the bus. But with that being said, that's all I got for now, guys. You leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Fool is signing out. I'm John Harmer.